Hello guys, in this session we are going to discuss Indology. Consider it as a revision session. So Indology is a branch of knowledge which actually shaped our understanding of Indian society and culture. So if you look at Indology, it's a study of Indian society, Indian history, Indian languages, literature and culture. See, unlike general sociology, when you see, which often applies universal theories to societal studies or social studies, Indology emphasis on uniqueness and continuity of Indian society. So one of the most important features is uniqueness and then continuity from the past. So these two you need to mention that I'll be discussing again later. So, and it is trying to explore its essence through the religious text, epics, and religious manuscripts, right? And the historical records, archaeological evidences, etc. So this approach basically highlights the distinctiveness of Indian traditions and values. So from its beginning, it is trying to see there are initially the British Indologists were there, and then you can see Indian Indologist was there. Even during British Indologist time, there were British scholars and British administrators. So British administrators' purpose was different, British scholars' purpose was different. So all those things you will be seeing, but we don't have time to discuss in this session that we have already covered. The details, the PDF, if you want to, you can check out the links in the description, and you can find the PDF of complete discussion on Indology. So from its beginning as Orientology, that's a colonial enterprise, Indology evolved to recognize India's unique identity, its cultural depth, and its offering insights into its social institution. So what I'm planning to do in this session is it's a kind of revision session. So we will talk about the foundational concepts of Indology, and we'll also look at the contribution of G.S. Ghurye, often regarded as the father of modern Indian Indology, and the application of Indology in sociological studies we will see, and especially from the side of G.S. Ghurye, and the critics and the contemporary relevance also of Indology. So I'll quickly go through this. I'll only discuss the most important points of each of these. So again, you can check out the links in the description for getting the PDF and everything, where everything is actually covered, which is relevant for your exam. So now, what is Indology? If you look at the definition at its core, Indology focuses on academic study of India's history, culture, languages, and literature. And it aims to decipher the values and structures that define Indian society. What's the origin? When we talk about Indology, Indology began as Orientology, where the colonial scholars studied Eastern societies, right? Oriental studies, the study of Eastern societies, to better understand the subjects, right? And over a period of time, the scholars realized that Indian society, with its rich traditions and deep-rooted systems, was unique and giving birth to Indology as a distinct academic discipline. And initial Indologists were the British, of course, and that again divided into two. British administrators, their scope of study was connected to the administrative purpose, and British scholars. Both of their understanding was also, in fact, different. One have seen Indian tradition in a traditional, orthodox, bad manner, but on the other side, the British scholars, they have highlighted the great tradition of Indian culture and everything. Anyway, now what are the assumptions? You can talk about uniqueness of Indian society, its continuity from the past, right? Indian society is not just a replica of other cultures, but has its own distinct and continuous trajectory. And it's a textual study. Unlike Western sociological method that often rely on empirical data, Indology uses text like the Vedas, the Shastras, and the epics to explore the societal framework. Who are the prominent scholars? See, Indology has been shaped by pioneers like S.V. Kedkar and B.N. Seal, B.K. Sarkar, and G.S. Ghurye, as well as the Western scholars like Louis Dumont and Sir William Jones, who founded Asiatic Society of Bengal in 1784 and introduced Sanskritic studies also. Now, what's the purpose? See, the Western sociology often aimed to reform society. Indology, in fact, emphasizes on understanding society in its entirety. So the approach makes Indology indispensable for studying India's social fabric. Let's talk about G.S. Ghurye now, the father of modern Indology. So let's talk about Ghurye's legacy. In fact, known as the doyen of Indian sociology, Ghurye revolutionized the study of Indian society by blending Indological and sociological method. That's why modern Indology. So when we talk about pure Indology, that is different. Like I told you, in case of British scholars, British administrators, but this is like a sociological Indology. So G.S. Ghurye is a sociologist and Indologist. So sociological Indology or modern Indology. That's why he's considered as father of modern Indology. So again, sociological methods has been used, and M.N. Srinivas aptly called him as a giant of Indian sociology. What are the contributions? Guys, I won't be discussing, I will not be able to discuss at this point of time the complete, because this is going to be a short session. So promoting sociology, he authored around 32 books, and that's ranging from studies on caste and tribes and family, religion, reflecting his diverse interest and commitment to sociology. Then institution building, established the Department of Sociology at Bombay University and founded the Indian Sociological Society in 1952 along with its journal, that that's a sociological bulletin. And mentorship, if we talk about trained, M.N. Srinivas, Airavati Karve, A.R. Desai, and ensure that the continue of his scholarly legacy. So you saw these names, right? M.N. Srinivas, Airavati Karve, A.R. Desai, and that itself will tell you about G.S. Ghurye's relevance and the legacy. So through his groundbreaking work, Ghurye laid the foundation for the systematic study of Indian society that you can see. Now, Ghurye's distinctive approach, textual and vernacular analysis. See, Ghurye's uniquely combined the Sanskritic text like the Vedas, Shastras with vernacular literature like the works of Bankim Chandra Chatterjee and Marathi authors. So this dual approach, in fact, enabled the deeper understanding of Indian society across the linguistic and cultural lines. Then diffusionist perspective, influenced by his mentor W.H.R. Rivers. Ghurye adopted the diffusionist approach, in fact, studying how cultural practices and institutions spread across the regions. And he used this method to understand the evolution of caste and the cultural synthesis in India. Guys, look at the PDF for the complete details of these concepts. I'm just going one-liner for, I'm going to touch everything of, G.S. Ghurye and Indology in this 10 to 15 minutes. So don't expect that I'll be covering each of diffusionist perspective itself. I need to cover in 30 minutes. Remember that. So here I just took 1 minute to talk about that, right? So keep that in mind and then refer the PDF or your standard textbook or your course and everything, right? So again, methodological pluralism. Ghurye believed in using a variety of methodologies, including field surveys, historical methods, and comparative analysis, tailoring his approach to research context. Then theoretical pluralism. Says he emphasized empirical studies. Ghurye did not shy away from making generalization. Right. So if you see his flexible approach, in fact, combined inductive deductive reasoning, and that allowed him to balance theory with observation. So these distinctive methods position Ghurye as a pioneer in blending Indology with modern sociology. So that's why I told you he's considered as father of modern sociology. Okay, now if you look at the key contribution of G.S. Ghurye, so this can be asked us again a question in 6 major areas. So you can classify his work in 6 major areas related to caste, related to tribe, kinship, family, marriage, culture and civilization, religion, sociology and conflict and integration. Sociology of conflict and integration. So they'll ask you a question from any of these. Those 6 potential questions are there here. Okay, Ghurye's understanding on caste. So when we talk about caste, the book name Caste and Race in India. So Ghurye studied caste from historical, anthropological, and sociological perspective and emphasizing its structural features. What are the features? So either you will get question on features of caste. There you need to talk about Ghurye. According to Ghurye, these are the 6 features. Or they specifically ask you G.S. Ghurye's understanding on caste. There also you need to talk about the same. So very important. And these 6 areas that I'm going to discuss is actually 6 potential short notes for you. Okay. So first feature, segmental division. Caste is divided into hereditary group. Not getting into the details, you know that. Hierarchy. Caste is arranged in a ranked order: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and the Dalits. Lack of occupational choice. That means roles are determined by both. Brahmins do this, Kshatriyas do this, Vaishyas do this, etc., which is fixed. Privileges and prohibitions. Different castes have varying rights and restrictions. And then the commensality. Food hierarchies again exist within each caste group, right? So if you see again endogamy, marriages within one's caste is strictly enforced. So exogamy is not allowed. So these are the 6 features. If you get a question in caste, feature or anything you need to mention. If you get a special question here also, then you need to mention. So Ghurye highlights caste caste he considered as integrative role in the past, even if it is perpetuating inequality, but there is a kind of integration. Now, tribes. Ghurye viewed tribes as backward caste Hindus or backward Hindus, and arguing that they were already assimilated into Hindu society. So there was a debate with Barry Relevin also. You can talk about that. Check out the PDF for the complete details. Entire details I've given over there. You can get from the description. Okay. See, Elvin advocated for tribal isolation. Ghurye emphasized on assimilation, citing its benefits such as education, improved livelihoods, and other things. Then third area is the kinship, family, and marriage. So Ghurye explored how kinship and caste are interconnected when focusing on marriage restrictions like endogamy, exogamy, hypergamy, and all these things I've discussed. Go through that. So he argued that caste networks are deeply rooted in kinship ties. Okay, and if you see another area is culture and civilization. So he advocated for acculturation, combining the best elements of one's own culture with external influences, and again highlighted how urbanization during colonial times disrupted the traditional rural-urban relationships and turning villages into raw material producers for the cities. Okay, again, religion, another area. Ghurye's sixth book on religion, in fact, explored its role in shaping Indian culture. For instance, in Indian sadhus, he examined the paradox of renunciation, where the ascetics, despite renouncing society, continue to influence it. So, guys, again, that's another topic, another question, potential 10 marker. So, go through that. Sociology of conflict and integration. So, if you see the book Social Tensions in India, Whether India and India Recreates Democracy. So, he identified five sources of national disunity, including the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and the religious minority. Okay, what are the criticisms? Like one of the most important criticism always is Brahminical bias. Indology often reflects, especially Ghurye's Indology reflects Brahmin-centric view, ignoring the histories and subaltern and tribal communities, and limited representation. Overemphasis on Hindu culture sidelines the diversity of Indian society. Fieldwork limitation. So, what is actually practiced in reality and what is book view is completely different. For example, you can talk about M.N. Srinivasa's concept of Sanskritization, dominant caste, etc. Right. So, critics argue that G.S. Ghurye reliance on textual analysis lack the sufficient field validation. So, what is the ground reality may be entirely different. So, you can add other studies as well. So, check out the criticisms which I've given in the PDF. Again, if you look at Indology in contemporary times, see the scholars like Wendy Doniger, D.P. Mukherjee, Sharan Sharma, they continue to reinterpret Indian history and culture using Indological methods. And modern applications include, analyzing issues like the Ayodhya dispute, Ram Setu, and history of the caste system, etc. How can I conclude? So that's about the session. So here we have covered everything. It's kind of a revision session. So each of the points will be a question. It can be asked as a question. Religion, his concept on religion, his concept on tribe, his concept on caste, his concept on family, all these can be potential 10 marker. So prepare accordingly. Consider it as a revision session only. It's not a topic because if I need to take each of these, it will take at least 3 days to complete, Ghurye. Okay. So, guys, Indology offers profound insights into the continuity and complexity of Indian society, uniqueness of Indian society. It has faced criticism for its Brahminical bias and limited field work. But if you see its contribution to understanding Indian culture, religion, and social institutions remain invaluable. Even if you're going for a field work and other things, if, for example, MN Srinivas, from where you get the initial understanding. You're studying caste, you're studying Sanskritization, you're studying dominant caste and everything. Yes, perfect. You go to the ground, the reality, and you work with that participant observation, non-participant observation, field work and analysis, everything you do, you realize the reality, but from where you got that basic understanding of caste. That's the bookish view. That's from Indology. So that's the relevance of Indology. So by blending the textual analysis with modern sociological methods, Indology continues to illuminate the dynamic interplay between tradition and change in India. So without Indology, no sociology, because you won't get any idea. If it is caste system, you need to know what is caste. For that, Indology is required. Right. So if you need to know about Indian family, the kinship system and the nuclear family, the joint family concepts and everything, go through the Indology. Then only you will realize that. Okay, so that's about this session, guys, and thank you so much. If you like the video, consider sharing it with your friends who are preparing with sociology. It will help them. And then, if you're looking for sociology mentorship or test series or course, check out the details in the description, and the PDF and everything. You can download it for free of course. That is there again in the description. So, see you with another video.